Hello there, everybody. It is me, Waddles here. Welcome back to another video. Today, I'm assuming you're here because either one, you're subscribed, and if you're not, of course you should be, and two, the other reason that you might be here is because you're looking for tips to build a cave base. Well, you're in luck because you clicked on the right video, you tapped on the right one. I will be showing you in this video 5 tips to improve your cave base game. Now, obviously, I cannot guarantee you don't know all of these, but if you don't know one of these, or if one of these helps you, what I want you to do is leave a like on this video. That will greatly help me. And like I said, if you're not subscribed and you enjoyed this video, make sure you change that. It's free and it's cool and it's fun. You won't regret it. Without any more delay, let's get into some tips for your cave base. Okay, I lied. There's one more thing we need to do before we get into the tips, and I want to define the difference between a cave base and what I call an underground base. Those are two different things. A cave base utilizes the cave for your base, and an underground base is where you go under the surface and you start digging rooms and make a base like that. We're going to be talking about cave bases in this video, but you could possibly apply these to an underground base depending on how you're doing it in your world. So my first tip for you when you're making your cave base is, of course, find that cave and have a plan. Now, you might be saying, Waddles, I have a plan. I want to make a cave base. Well, that's great, but what do you want to do in your cave base? Do you want to maybe put a skylight in? Or did you want to maybe find diamonds while you're making your base? Or do you want to base it around a grinder? Have an idea of what you want to do with your cave base. If you know what you want to do and you have an idea of what you want it to look like, it'll make it even easier for you when you're trying to make it. Think about if you want to have grass floors. Do you want to use a ravine? Do you want to have diamond floors? Think about what you want. That is very, very important. Tip number 2, work with the cave. So you want to find a cave that you can work with. Don't find a cave that just dead ends and it's one hallway. Find a cave like I'm in right now. This is a naturally generated cave that I found, and plan to work with it. You want to plan ideally to add no hallways whatsoever. That might not be realistic, but plan to do that. Think about the cave that you found. So for me, it's this cave, and plan out like, okay, down this hallway, I want enchanting. This hallway is storage. I'm gonna make a central room where I'm standing, and maybe a bedroom goes down that hall. Think about the base, plan it, and work with the cave. Don't plan on adding another hallway in here off the bat. If you have to do that later, that's fine, but plan to work with the cave in here. And working with the cave also means keeping it natural. It's going to be very tempting to get rid of these random blocks, but do not do that. Leave those alone. Okay, so now you have a plan. You're going to work with the cave. You have that cave that you want. Tip number 3, to make your cave base very, very good, block variation. This is the biggest thing, or one of the biggest steps, is block variation. So this cave right now looks, just like a normal cave. Nothing too special, but really nothing too ugly, right? Well, you can really step your cave base game, you can really step this up by adding block variation in here. What that means is replacing some stone with cobblestone or mossy cobblestone. This is going to transform the look of your base by simply going in here every once in a while and switching out a stone with some cobblestone, maybe using some light gray concrete powder or even dark gray. It just depends on what you want your base to look like. But replace some of these blocks with cobblestone, maybe even polished andesite if you want a more structured look. I don't usually do polished andesite. I don't like the structured look, but you could do cracked stone bricks, really any gray blocks. But I would suggest to remove diorite, remove andesite. That stuff, at least to me, is ugly, but it's all about personal preference. Now, when you're doing this, I would focus way more on the walls and way more on the ceiling than the floor. We're going to get back to the floor a little later, but definitely add some variation in this cave. It will start to transform it immediately. Now, a tip for variation when you're doing this is Go with your instincts. When you're making this variation, if you break a block, you have to put something different there. You broke it for a reason. And if you don't break a block, then that's fine. But once you break a block, my rule is something different has to go there. I can't put stone back. Another thing about this step is, of course, it depends on the texture pack you're using. Some textures will look better together in different texture packs. But another thing you can do is go in and add some ores in here. And not just normal iron, maybe some diamond, maybe some lapis, some redstone. If you have that stuff, though. Don't waste your only diamond on this. And obviously, you need Silk Touch to do this. Tip number 4, do not overexpand. Work from one direction or one center point. This is a common issue that I have a lot of times and that I see a lot of times. People have a really cool hallway and you think it would be really cool to add something down the hallway because it links to another room or because it goes somewhere and it looks kind of cool. Well, don't do that. Work from the center. So this is the center of my base. I don't go down this hallway and add a room. You go very close and add a room. So I went down the hall a little bit and then this is the room down here. Don't add one room and then go way down a hall, add another room, then go down another hall and add another room, because usually that's not going to lead to a very nice base. You're going to have to do a lot of running. It's going to be really tedious. And then you have these long hallways that you have to do something with. You have to decorate a long cave hallway, which the variation is nice and all, but once you have a long winding hallway like this, all the way to get to a room over here, the variation isn't going to work as well because it's a long hallway that's just a cave still. Yeah, it looks nicer, but that's a really long hallway, and long hallways are not helpful. So pick a middle room or start at the end of one hall and slowly fill your base in. Base it around a center point. It'll do yourself lots of favor later when you get tired of running around really far in your world just to enchant and then store things. If you don't get that enchant that you really needed. You really needed efficiency 1 and you didn't get it, and now you got to run all the way across your base to go put that thing away because you got efficiency 4. Yeah, that's going to be annoying to run all the way. Keep it compact, work from one point. While you're keeping it simple and compact, if you do have a hallway like this one over here, and you know you're not going to need it down there, then break the rules and don't work with the cave and make this your room here. Just do not go down that long hallway just for a small room. If you're sure you don't need the rest of this hallway, block it off, make sure it's all lit up, and make a room right here off of the center room. Don't overexpand. That is a big problem. Now, number 5 is the longest step. So, like we talked about last tip, our storage room is over here, right? Well, say we have a little bit of a hallway here. You can add these kind of details, like a support. In mine shafts, there's supports, or they're meant to be supports. You can add supports in here to make it feel like your cave is being held up by something, being inhabited. And these supports and kind of details and stuff don't have to be the same and uniform. If you add this randomness to it, say we add in another random support in this center room, and we just want a log going all the way up, that's going to make it feel a lot more special, a lot more like a cave. So let's say over here we have a bedroom, right? Now what you can do is block the cave off, like a doorway like that leading to the bedroom. Maybe even put fences. Fences are great for details. Another thing you can do is, instead of mossy cobblestone or with the mossy cobblestone, put leaves and vines hanging from the ceiling. This adds a lot of detail. Or grass floors. Like I said, skip the floor. Well, now come back to the floor and think about what you would want on the floor. Maybe you want dirt. I personally like grass because it brings a little bit of color into your base. Let's say you don't like grass floors in here. Well, then do some kind of cool dirt floor. Change the floor though. Don't leave the floor gray, or leave a little less gray on the floor than everywhere else, because you already have a lot of one color in your base, and one color is nice. It makes things match, But if you have these varying colors and these varying supports like this in here, then your base is going to look way more professional and way more impressive. Your friends will see your base and be like, wow, that is a really creative base. And if you add in support beams like I did here, go all the way up. If you have a multi-layered cave like this, it makes it look even more real. Now, the fun thing here is that this is all just your creativity. Maybe you add cobblestone walls hanging off of the ceiling. Maybe you want to add planks in the floor and make some kind of wooden floor. But this is all up to you and however creative you can get with your base. The really fun part is just making the base your own. Now, when you're doing this step, again, try and keep these natural shapes. The natural shapes really will make your base look a lot more creative and detailed. If you do flat walls, it just looks like a room underground. And who knows, maybe your base will start to look like your favorite YouTuber's base. And so, with that, that is 5 tips from me for transforming or stepping up your cave base game. What I want you to do now is go and put one more tip in the comments. What is a tip that somebody else needs to know for when they're going to make a cave base? Now, try and keep it cave base related and not underground base related like I had said. An underground base is simply going under the ground and digging rooms. A cave base is using a cave to make a base. I hoped some of these tips helped you out and you can hopefully step up your cave base game even more than it is now. If you enjoyed, maybe subscribe, leave a like if you liked it, and thank you so much for watching. I hope one of these helped you. I will see you next time. Goodbye.